succeed, try again. All right, I'm trying. Let's give it a shot. Hopefully everyone sees that they got to go to this stream. That's the thing. Once they cut off that stream, then everyone's like, I don't know. Yeah, well, I'm hoping. I'm hoping that. Okay, let me see what's going on here. So we are back. New stream, eh? Howdy. Yeah. Round 2. Ding. Ding, ding. Better now. Okay. I don't know. Hopefully it's going to stay, folks. Like I say, this stuff is getting obviously very frustrating, right? Yeah, it's saying we're good here for now. So for now, right? There we go. What's going up? What's going on, Gato? Everything froze on my end again. Again? No way. Oh man. I guess I should up a profile pic. It's all good. It's all good. Oh no, is it freezing on everyone? Like I said, I'm just going to give it a minute here because I don't want to start rambling on if it's going to freeze on us again. Internet doing weird today. Too many watching Netflix. Yep, Jeffrey Krause. That's the thing. Well, I mean, for sure, with it being long weekend and people not being able to get together with family, I can kind of understand why maybe the internet's going to be overwhelmed today. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to try streaming today. No, it's good. Been happening lots of anti-folks. That's the thing, though. Is it happening to people that don't say anything negative towards government? Like, I'd be curious to know. Like, are people that, just kind of go along with everything, are their streams the very best? I don't know. What? Oh, did he? Yeah. Well, yeah, he definitely doesn't say anything. So, I don't know. Like I say, folks, it could just be that, like I say, huge amount of the volume. And especially, like I said, it kind of makes sense if you think about it. A lot of people are excellent strength now. Glad to hear it. It's not freezing here. Good to hear it. Sophie, it's good on your end. Sophie M. Oh, by the way, Sophie M, I never even put that two and two together that time you were in the stream before. Are you the one? I'm almost certain. Yeah, you must be the one that actually liked my comments on the agenda. If I'm correct in my assumption, don't know how I didn't put that together at the moment, but just answer yes, I guess, on in the chat, because yeah, it seems like you were probably the one that liked my comments and my posts on that Steve Paikin, that interview when they were talking to the people in terms of liberty, right? 100 Days of Dark start today. Just cleaned up. Excellent. Good to hear it. So it looks like everything's getting better. It's happening. 2 dissenters from both sides. Yeah, actually, like I say, we got Gab that's going to be, I got another email today. They're still working on that. It's going to be, Gab's going to offer their own streaming service too. So, and Gab is all about freedom of speech. So that'll be great if they get that up. I don't know, but YouTube has made your streams hard to find in the past. It's very difficult. Well, not if you go to my channel. Like, that's the thing. When you say it's hard to find my streams, like, if you go to my channel, it's actually really easy because it's all right there on my channel. Get notifications, I know that. But as far as if you want to see anything that I've uploaded in the past, all you have to do to avoid all is, if you get notifications or anything, is just go straight to the channel and you'll see. Like, click on the upload section. Or now that I've got everything properly sorted out with the playlist all fixed up now, you can go to where it just says live streams and just watch the past live streams. So I actually had to do a little tweaking myself there, Gato. So everything should be fine as far as that goes in terms of if you just go to Canadian Libertarian on YouTube. And like I said, even if you type in Canadian Libertarian, it's the first thing that comes up. So it's definitely not difficult to find my channel if you just, like I say, type in Canadian Libertarian. He was approved to talk about Corona. My Corona. I'm surprised nobody's done a parody with my Corona. You know, my Sharona the Knack, right? Yeah, where's all the oh, which comment? It may be me, but I really don't remember which post. I'm talking about on the Facebook page for TVO, and they were having that round table. Maybe it wasn't you. Maybe it was just a coincidence that the person that had liked my comment on their Facebook page, like I say, TVO, the agenda with Steve Paikin is the one that, like, and if it wasn't you, maybe she just had the same first name. I can't remember if the last name was M or started with an M or not. But anyways, don't even worry about it if it wasn't you. But like I say, I was getting people that were mad at me for daring to tell people they should be free. And there was one person that obviously agreed with me and liked my comment and my post on there. And like I say, the person's name was same first name as you, Sophie. Paikin is a typical Canadian, too entrenched in the, is he ever, right? Is he ever? Wow. I don't even know how Tim reads something like that and doesn't realize he's a tool. Tim? Not sure what Tim. Something being said about Tim. Oh, Tim Poole. Okay. Tim Poole said he's got a letter from YouTube saying he was approved to talk about Corona. Never any problems for him. Well, I didn't get a letter, but I did see a notification, because when you go into your YouTube Creator Studio, I did see a notification at the top that said, you're allowed to talk about coronavirus. I should have screen captured. You know what? That's what I should have done. I should have screen captured what it said on it, because it told you what the restrictions were. Actually, let me try open up right now while we're all sitting here. And as long as the stream's holding up here, let me see if I can't possibly, if it's still on there. I highly doubt it, but let me just see if that is there. And if it is, maybe it's possible that I can screen capture that now. Looking. Here's your choice to help make YouTube. No, darn. It's just to create a... now. Wow. Actually, now that I'm in my studio, wow, I've lost since yesterday. No wonder. Yeah, I seen my YouTube channel went from 7.82 down to 7.81. I'm down to 7,814 subscribers. So what have I lost at minimal, right? At least 6, and possibly more than that. I just keep losing subscribers every day. Yeah, nothing strange about that at all. Nothing strange about that at all. Anyways, I'm just trying to see, like I say, if there's anywhere I can find out now. Like in the community post. Copyright. No, it wouldn't be in there. Okay, forget it. Like I say. But it did, YouTube did send out to the creators that if you're going to talk about COVID, well, you can't say that governments are responsible for it. There was a whole list of things that you just can't say if you want to monetize your video, which I always try to do. I don't make much each video or each stream's like a few bucks, but like I say, something is better than nothing. I would gladly be able to, like I say, I thought about it before. I'd love to be able to be on the model like Stefan Molyneux, where I don't have to monetize my videos at all, and then I wouldn't have to worry about that freaking aggravation. But unfortunately, I don't have enough people willing to support me, so I got, like I say, got to make some bank somehow. Okay, back into the stream. Things are looking up in Quebec and getting worse in the rest of Canada. The lockdown might end soon. I think you have a little bit of a biased perspective there, Gato. I really, really do, because I constantly hear, now I get it, the media, they lie about a lot of things, but I don't know. In what way? Like, I don't know. Excellent strength now. But you seem to have, I mean, the fact that you live in Quebec, see, that's with me is, that's where, wouldn't matter if I'm in Ontario, born and raised, wouldn't matter if I've lived in both Ontario and New Brunswick. I was born in New Brunswick and partially raised in both because my parents moved me, but I don't have this thing, like, where it's like, I don't know, like, same with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, when I was growing up in Toronto, it's like, I don't just support the Leafs. Like, they're fucking losers, man. What the hell? And I used to tell my friends that all the time. Like, why? These fucks, they haven't won anything. I'm like right now I'm 50 years old and the Leafs haven't won a goddamn thing in longer than I've been alive. And yet there's like so many people that still out there and choose to like, really? So you're big fans of losers? Well, that makes sense, actually. Yep, that's the Canadian mentality. No wonder the ones that want to be successful have to travel to the south, right? That's why actually a lot of even the Canadian hockey players end up traveling and going to play for some of the American teams, right? It's like, what the... If they want to win anything, anyways, right? Because that's the thing. When you have the mentality that you win it to win it, you're in it to win it, well, then there's a real good chance that you can win it, because that's kind of required for you to win things. You have to at least be ambitious enough to want to win, rather than just wanting the consolation prize or, well, at least we all participated, which is basically a representation of the Toronto Maple Leafs, like the fucking all the fans that keep showing up. To me, you want to get the Leafs to actually win something for once? Stop showing the fuck up to their game. And when they show up to their games and there's not a damn person in the bleachers or in the seats and you can hear the crickets fucking, right? It's like, well, then at that point in time, it's like, well, gee, maybe we should actually put in enough effort to try to win. Or maybe we should get enough players that have that same we got to win kind of mentality, and they might win something, because that's kind of a recipe for success. Is you got to have people that actually want to strive to win, not just be there to get their paychecks, right? Or have a bunch of bench warmers, or that's a big problem in Canada, not just in terms of hockey, but this like I say, whether it's the blind nationalism or the blind provincialism or like, oh, my particular, I don't know, government is better than your government. It's like, I don't know, man. To me, I deal with like, did I do that? Did I accomplish it? Yeah, okay, cool, right? If someone else did it, I just can't claim that because someone else did something that was successful. It's like, oh, well, they got brown hair and I got brown hair, so, well, that must mean that I win too. Or I'm just as good as they are because we share the same color hair. It's like, I don't know, like I say, that collective delusion, right? I just don't get into any of that collective delusion. And I know because it was very prevalent when I was younger, but now as an adult, like I say, I literally walk around most of my life is like, I'm dealing with fucking adolescents. Most of the people, all these people, the men with full-grown mustaches and beards and, their balls have dropped. Like, you can tell they're men. They have lower voices. Like, nope, they're adults, but they still walk around with the psychology of a child. And why that is because that's how they've been raised. That's how they've been taught to think. But when you, like I say, once you've had the red pill, or let's just say became an adult and you think critical and objective, have objectivity in your thinking, it's like, then it is like, oh, damn. Is this really how the world functions? Yeah, it really is. Scary stuff, isn't it? And a lot of these people that have that same mentality are the ones, like I say, in the media and running this country. Scary, right? It's difficult, if it's not impossible, to say anything positive about this government. I can't say anything positive about any government. I mean, like, some people try to do the thing like, oh, well, they happenstance or something. They did one thing right. It's like, well, fuck, I can sit there and stare at a clock, right? And twice a day, that clock's going to be right. Even if you never put a battery in it, even if the hands never move. Now, if I took a snapshot, I'd be like, look, that's a perfectly functioning clock. It's 12 o'clock. And see, look, I just took the picture. It's 12 o'clock according to the clock. But it's like, yeah, but it doesn't fucking work. Right? Well, it did for that minute or for that snapshot. Okay, but you got to think about, let's actually look at the big picture here. The truth of the matter is the clock doesn't work, and government, other than the fact that using the utilitarian argument that yes, by using force and violence and theft, yes, you can benefit yourself or people who are going to benefit as a consequence of that kind of theft or corruption or immorality. But once again, are you really making the utilitarian argument that corruption is good? Because if that's the case, well, then what do you need government for? Why don't we all, if corruption is good, well, why is it just good for government? Why shouldn't it be good for all of us, right? If theft is good, if you can make the utilitarian argument, well, the government should be bailing everybody out because it's going to help everybody out today so they don't lose their jobs and their livelihood or their income. Well, all right. Well, that makes sense to me, too. I bet if I went and stole a bunch of shit from my neighbor, I'd be able to pay my, I don't have a mortgage, but let's say I did. Oh, I'd be able to make my mortgage payment if I went and stole from my neighbor. Is this really the place where we're at these days where we're making the argument, the utilitarian argument for theft or corruption or immorality? Yep. A lot of people are. Craziness. Oh, man. You have to laugh. If I don't laugh, you're not going to like what I do if I don't laugh. Ooh, which comment? Oh, sorry. Pagan is, yeah. Taxpayer funded, yeah. Taxpayer, not, well, stolen from taxpayers. Because I'm one of those taxpayers, but I don't choose to. That's actually, the taxpayer moniker is kind of a misnomer, right? So it's a wrong label. Tax serf, tax slave, right? That makes sense. Taxpayer, I don't know why they call it taxpayer. I never chose to pay government a dime ever in my life. It's been taken out of my income lots of times against my permission, and I've even asked for it not to happen, but hey, it's just a part of how that's what it is to live in Canada. You have to accept a certain amount of theft, right? Same fucking rhetoric I keep hearing from all these people all the time. So it's just the price to live in Canada. You have to allow a little bit of theft. No, a little more theft, a little bit more theft, a little more theft, to the point where now it's like, let's just get theft to the hundreds of billions a year. That's it. Well, that's what you got now, Canada. Everyone thinks that theft's a good thing. Hey, good morning, Mr. G. Rich. Gritch. Hi, peeps. Was checking in our French allies. They're rallying. Right on. What's that over in France? Cool. I'll talk about what I want to talk about. How about that? Yeah, you do that. Beat the algorithm. Thumbs up. Oh, cool. I saw the same thing, Bennett. I even made up the first verse. Right on. I like "'Tis the end of the world as we know it." Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, so you're talking about okay. Oh, no, I don't remember during that, but would have probably liked your comment too. Oh, right on. I was trying to talk to you later about minds.com. I noticed that you don't boost your post. It would allow you to reach more people. You were concerned that you weren't reaching. Yeah, I do boost my posts. I do all the time. I'm down to, 133 tokens now, I guess. I was up there for a while. I think I had like 170 some. But yeah, I boost them, but just not all of them. And the crazy part is, the weird part I find with that whole boost on Minds is, if I boost for like 500, like half a token, 500 views, like that's basically, it shows I get that, but it's like, let's say I boost my video. It's like, it doesn't even get me the views on my video. So I don't even know how that shit works on there. It makes it look like, well, my views show up on my, on the sidebar there, where I'm in like to the hundreds of thousands of views and all, but I don't know. If I'm just buying them, and are people actually looking at them, or does it just register as a view if it shows up in the feed and people scroll by it? I don't know. But to me, I've always found that the whole, and like I say, I like Minds for a lot of things. There's some great aspects of Minds, but in terms of having to pay for the views, like, and boosting, and it just seems it's like back in the day when people, and I don't know if people still do it today, like will buy subscribers or likes. It's like, oh, if I gotta pay for that, I'd rather have 2 likes and 1 subscriber than have to pay people to do that. It just seems really, really like nah. My little sickly one, what you gonna give me that? Oh, bye Corona. I'm fascist. I don't know why I subbed to you, but I still enjoy your videos. You're fascist. Are you sure about that, Elliot Aslan? Are you really 100% sure of that? Are you just mean that you prefer closed knit societies where, or the what is it? If you go all the way back to the Roman model, or actually the Jeez, I'm having a brain fart this morning. But yeah, if you say you like fascism, what about fascism is it that you like? Because a lot of people like to feel a sense of belonging, like a sense of belonging to a group, and be a group where people are closely aligned with each other, which is the whole thing of the fascista, right? That where the bundle of sticks, close knit, makes more strength and all that. I would just say, well, I'm all for, like, obviously the more people that align with libertarian values, right? That would be more and more people. I would like to have, a substantial portion of the Canadian population align with them too. But what do you mean? Like, what do you mean in terms of fascism? Do you like, because that comes with some serious negative ramifications or connotations as well, right? So, but yeah, subbing to me is probably a good idea anyways, because I'm going to give you at least something to think about, right? For sure. Because that's the thing, I think a lot of people that think that they have to align with fascists or alt-righters or no. You can still, like I say, as far as libertarians are concerned, having an in-group preference, not a damn thing wrong with having an in-group preference. If you're a white person and you choose to preferably hang around with white people, as long as you don't, do anything to cause harm to other people that don't share, like, your skin color or whatever, I would say that's probably not expanding yourself. Like, you might, gain some knowledge you might not get from the peeps that you choose to. I mean, like, to me, I like to spread myself around in a lot of different ways to get a lot of different history and knowledge and, maybe how some people eat, some of the things they consume. There's lots of things I can learn from people that come from different cultures or who don't share my skin color. But once again, in terms of a libertarian, like if you lived in a libertarian society, if you have an in-group preference and you only like to hang with your peeps, or for that matter, even if you want to start up a business and only allow certain people into your establishment, then, as long as it's voluntary and everyone knows that, in a libertarian society, you can do that. I would say you'd probably have a pretty failing business model because the person that opens up, let's say you got a bed and breakfast, or no, let's say a coffee shop, right? You open up your coffee shop and you only sell coffee to, white people. And then the coffee shop opens up down the street that serves anybody. You'll see that you'll probably a much smaller profit margin and bottom line than the one that's going to sell coffee to everyone. Now, if you're willing to accept that smaller bottom line, do your thing. That's the thing. People just like communists or the far leftists that want to create their little socialist utopias. Go ahead, do your thing. You just can't force me into it. That's the thing with libertarians. People that are on these extremes that are disenfranchised with the status quo or the current state of affairs is, listen, you really should be talking to libertarians because, once again, unless you're just an evil motherfucker that, has this pretense, I'll use the term that I have in-group preference, but in reality, you're a white supremacist and you think, entire races should be wiped out because they're inferior or some sort. Now, that's a totally different ball game entirely, right? But once again, in-group preference, not a problem whatsoever. LGBTQ, and you just want to open up an establishment or only hang around with people that are LGBTQ or whatever, once again, in a libertarian society, freedom of association, right? You do your thing. That's what freedom entails. That's what freedom means. But with that freedom also comes personal responsibility and accountability, right? You can be an asshole as much as you want, but then whatever happens as a consequence of you being an asshole, right, then you're just going to have to deal with that. Now, if it gets to the point where there's actual violence, like I say, then there's ways, whether you want to talk about dispute organizations, dispute resolution organizations, what we normally would call courts today, right? If you want to have, these dispute resolution centers where you have people or if people who are committing crimes, if you want to have some kind of security forces to protect, your business or your home or like I say, some arbiter to deal with any economic breach of an economic contract, such as lawyers and such, all these things. Like I say, all the things that people need or require to deal with, like whether it's criminal acts or civil acts, is completely conducive with living in a free society. So, like I say, fascists can be fascist as long as, like I say, they're not using force or violence. Like if you're just real heavy into the in-group preference, anyways, no point in hammering away on that. That's just what it is. But yeah, people, like I say, people on the extremes of both the right and the left, yeah, you really, at the very least, yeah, keep a libertarian chirping in your ear at least once in a while. So that, yeah, you're not going too crazy into that collective mindset, right? They tried to poison me with COVID, and I say, no. You should have a talk with Styx or Rampal, both libertarian guys with different perspective. Yeah, Styx Hammer 666. Yeah, he's man, that guy can go on, right? He can certainly go on a pretty wild tear. I watch him from time to time. If anyone knows him and wants to put him in contact with me or whatever, I just, because my channel's so small, I don't usually try to reach out to people with these big channels. And because I'm Canadian, like I try to stick with dealing with the Canadian thing. Like there's lots of Americans, right? And I don't want to necessarily just want to have my channel grow by having a whole bunch of Americans come and subscribing, but then no one ever watches my videos again. So I got this massive amount of subscribers, but my views are still pathetic. Like, to me, it's like I prefer the whole grassroots movement, even though it does come at a snail's pace and, blah, blah, blah. But like I say, it's Canada. This is the country I live in. This is where I predominantly want to. Now, if there are other Canadian YouTubers that you're familiar with and want to talk about these things, then I'm definitely on board with that. But to go on some of these bigger channels, I don't know. Like I say, it could be positive, but it could also be negative as well. So, but thanks for the suggestion. My big question is, why are Canada's numbers not reported municipally like everywhere else? Good question. Good question. Great show. Well, anybody who thinks you, me, or any of the truth tellers are conspiracy theorists, not anymore, right? I know, that's the thing. All the bullshit pretense of conspiracies. Like, really? Are you not paying attention to what's going on out there? Probably a silly question, Bennett. But have you read? Yes, I have, and I've watched the movie and all that as well, Damien. Yes, it's pretty wild, right? It is. It's like it, and it's wrong thing. That's basically, and the reason why those stories are written. And it's not just, obviously just George Orwell and stuff, but other people that have talked about this stuff throughout many times in history is because history definitely rhymes. That's why they can write these stories that seem like they're telling the future. Even some of the stories of the Bible and Revelations and such. The reason why is because humans, like I say, until we get to some point in time where we, starting to think more critically about things, and like I say, humans are evolving slowly but surely. But yeah, we're just not at the point where we're like most people are thinking critically, right? So yeah, these things, they seem to keep propping up and happening, every few hundred years or so. And why is because people keep making the same mistakes over and over and over and over again, which is why libertarian philosophy or the philosophy of liberty is so important. And people need to start thinking about this because like knowledge is power. If you want to stop making them same mistakes in the past, then you got to get rid of the pretense of authoritarian collectivism or having a government, right? Because government is that entity that does cause all the truth or the bulk of pain, deaths, destruction, devastation, economic hardships. It is always or almost always a consequence or result of government. You can find that trail, you can follow that trail, and it always leads down the path to one thing, is giving some people the pretense of authority over everyone else. The minute you've created that scenario, well, that, like I say, just like I said before, start your watch, because now the countdown is on, and you're going to see that authoritarianism or collective authoritarianism is going to rear its ugly head once again. And until we can get out from underneath the constant promotion of collectivism, well, history is going to continue to repeat. And like I say, in this modern age, when history repeats with the amount of tools at the disposal of the authoritarians, it's only going to get worse. Brave New World, yeah, is more apt. That's another great one, Stan. Stop, don't touch me there. This is my note. They will milk this lockdown as long as they need to. Bennett, I'm down on the ground in Quebec. I see what's happening. The news are saying bullshit. People are rejecting the lockdown. Okay, well, no, but see, that's the thing where we got. So if people are rejecting the lockdown, okay, what you really mean then, Gato, is there's more people in Quebec, and that I would 100% agree with you, right? But it's not like the lockdown doesn't exist. It's that yes, the French people, just like as you see, like in the UK and France, yes, the French people have more of that revolutionary spirit and that zeal in them. So, and they're more than willing, apparently, as we're seeing, right, to challenge their authority. So that's one area. And if you're going with it that way, then 100%, I agree with you there that the French people definitely have much more of that rebellious spirit about them and are willing to challenge their authority. So it's not that Quebec is doing much better in terms of the government, right? But yes, the people in Quebec, like I say, less conformist than in certain regards, for sure, right? Less conformist than a lot of English-speaking Canada. And that is a reality, Gato, and I agree with you there. So shame on you, English Canada. Shame, shame, shame. Like, whatever happened, like, that's the thing, where'd all the people go that watch, like, Braveheart or The Patriot or, all these shows where, the men, whether it's the Irish or the Scottish or whatever, whoever the hell it was, stood up and defended their land or their family or their community or their peeps, the people that they align with, right? Defending them against overreaching authoritarian regimes or the kings of the past. Where is that? Where is that today in English Canada, right? No. All those people that would watch those movies or have that, like, oh yeah, I'm all about freedom. It's like, but I get my paycheck from the States, so I like my freedom, but I like my paycheck even better, right? So where are they? Where are they all in English-speaking Canada? Well, I can count one. I'm over here, but how many other people out there are saying? I watch lots of YouTube videos, lots of people talking and disagreeing about what's going on, but how many of them are actually giving you the kind of dirt, the kind of truth, or shouldn't I say dirt, but the dirt that these hacks in the media are espousing? How many of you are putting out what they're saying and telling you exactly what they're trying, what that represents, and how you can destroy their narratives? Very few. A lot of people today, even some of the YouTubers online, are just like, oh, I so hate Trudeau, or I so hate this premier for doing this. But it's like, you're looking, once again, they're looking with that tunnel vision. They're focusing on that little bit, like, it's like, dude, throw the fucking tunnel vision away, right? Take that fucking thing away and look at the big picture out there. Because if you're not looking at the big picture, you're missing out on everything, right? So pretty much everything. But yeah, English-speaking Canada. I was on the 401 across Toronto on Thursday, and traffic was heavy. People are fed up and getting on with life. Yeah, well, I'm sure, like I say, give it time. Give it time. Speaking moistly. How can they hand out fines when the courts are closed? So, okay, yeah. So let me get down here. So, like I say, let me get dealing with some of these things. Because, yeah, some great articles, like I say, coming out of... actually, let me get with this one first from iHeartRadio.ca. Toronto Mayor John Tory asked Police Chief Mayor Sanders to step up ticketing against COVID-19 emergency bylaw breakers. Wasn't that same John Tory the one saying, hey, we don't tell the police what to do around here, right? What? Or are you fucking doing it now? Oh, let me guess. He's lying, contradicting what he said just a week ago? He's a politician. What do you expect? Like I say, these people, they'll say whatever sounds good in a soundbite at the moment. They don't give a shit how contradictory it is to anything they've said in the past. And the media aren't even willing to fucking hold these dipshits to account. Like, how easy is it for us to constantly? I mean, I can do it every day. Every day, I can hold these dipshits to account and point out with clear and concise information and accuracy and how contradictory they are on a regular basis. Is the media doing that? That's actually the media's job. The media, the whole point of having newspapers and the media in this country is to challenge, the political class, those in government, and hold them to account. Is the media doing that? No. Why? Because they're all bailed out and paid for by government. So it's left to people like myself to do it, who are basically getting, not only not being compensated for it, or very minimally, but being fucking constantly hated on, derided, and insulted for doing the job that these hacks in the media won't. Anyway, so there's this one. Listen to this one, folks. Like I say, I wish I could share this with you. I'm going to put a link to all these in the description of the stream. This one's a headline out of, like I say, the Post Millennial. RCMP will be visiting your home to enforce quarantine. Fines of up to $1 million the 10th of April, 2020. As lockdown measures tighten and citizens' activities continues to be restricted, the RCMP are about to crack down even further. Canadian police will be doing home visits to make sure citizens are complying with stay-at-home orders. On Friday, officers warned that those who are found to recklessly flout the orders could be issued a fine of $1 million and receive a sentence of 3 years in prison. Yeah. The orders in question stem from the Quarantine Act, which was enacted on March 25th. The Public Health Agency of Canada, PHAC, asked the RCMP to assist with enforcing the mandatory 2-week self-quarantine for new arrivals in the country. Now that we'll be going door to doors. The officers will get physical verification that people are where they are supposed to be. The checks will be limited to persons who, after PHAC has done initial verifications by phone, text, or email, may require a physical verification by the police per a statement from the RCMP. RCMP Commissioner Brenda Lucky, stated that choosing to ignore mandatory isolation and quarantine orders is not only against the law, it's also putting citizens, first responders, health professionals, and the most vulnerable at risk of exposure to the virus. Collectively, everyone in Canada has a role to play to ensure compliance with isolation and physical distancing measures. Officers will be practicing physical distancing during these home visits and intend to use a risk-based measure approach to non-compliance, focusing on education and encouragement. The RCMP has substantial tools in its belt to enforce the orders of the Quarantine Act. At the high end, penalties will be up to $750,000 for failure to comply, while those who endanger others could be fined up to $1 million, including a 3-year prison term. Those who are found in violation will not be taken into custody, however, but will be given a court date for a later time. Arrest will be at the officer's discretion, right? So, that's the thing. Arrest to take them where? Huh? To the police station? To get all the rest of the people at the police station or that little jail they have in those police stations and get all those people infected? Like I say, how the fuck are they going to enforce all this bullshit? But the threats are there. The threats are there, right? Up to 3 years in prison or $1 million. That's insane. Now, right now, based on what I read from that, it almost seems that it's right now seems mostly pertaining to those who are told to isolate or in quarantine because of the possibly suspicion of having the disease. But it doesn't mean, as you see, it doesn't say that it's only those who have been tested and proven positive, right? Didn't say that. Who will be doing home visits? Yeah, I'm trying to read just to double check on that. Yeah, no, it doesn't see anywhere if you've actually been proven to have or have contacted the virus, right? So even if they suspect you may, and they tell you, well, if they suspect you may because maybe you traveled somewhere, well, you better be in lockdown. And if you don't, if you step outside your house and your neighbor catches you, right? Better watch out because you know you got some neighbors out there who are probably watching what you're doing. So once again, crazy shit, folks. Oh, and there was this one being reported out of the Post-Millennial as well. And like I've said so many other times, they're not going to be able to prevent the coronavirus from spreading, right? As much as they try to flatten that curve, for every little bit that they could possibly flatten the curve, like I say, the exponential costs in terms of the loss of our liberties and our freedoms and the destruction of the economy, like I said, is definitely going to outweigh and outstrip any pretense or benefit that you're going to get. Now listen to this one. I see that Post-Millennial, they all got these fucking thing where they embedded a video that plays without me and I can't close it. Anyways, Canada's National Microbiology Lab confirms 3 staff infected with coronavirus. So this is at Canada's National Microbiology Lab, right? This was reported by Quinn Patrick, Montreal, Quebec, 10th of April, 2020. So at Canada's National Microbiology Lab, if there's going to be one place that you would say in this entire fucking country that should have the ability and the tools at their disposal and the personal protective equipment and the proper training, all that you would require or need to make sure that you can quarantine or lock down or isolate people to protect them from the potential spread, would be at Canada's National Microbiology Lab. But apparently they can't even do it there. So once again, this is just more proof that even with all these restrictive or authoritarian measures, they can't even protect people in the most, like I say, the most perfected case where they should be able to do so. If they can't do it there, then you know what they're doing isn't going to protect you. That's why I always say personal responsibility and accountability. You take that responsibility on yourself to protect yourself. And if there's someone that you deem vulnerable out there, then you either hope that they're doing the same thing, or if you are overly concerned, you go and protect those people. Do not fucking rely on government or some mandate or edict or government act of legislation or any of these authoritarian measures that to protect the vulnerable, the weak, the elderly, or those with preconditions, right? Because as you can see, the government's not going to be able to protect you from bad things from happening. They've never been able to, which is why I'm not a fan of big government. Why? Because government, everything they pretend that they can prevent, it never happens, right? mean, think about the punitive measures for murder. Pretty severe punishments for murder, yet murder still happens, right? So, like I say, people that believe that government can just prevent bad things from happening are people that, well, just like pure mystical in their thinking. And don't trust those people because obviously they don't know how to think critically at all. But like I say, if they can't do anything to protect the staff in this type of environment, they're definitely going to fail in every other regard. Let me just read a little bit of it here. The National Microbiology Laboratory in Winnipeg, is that the same one, that level 4 one? Anyways, has had a scare after 2 of their employees and one of their close contacts have tested positive for COVID-19. Staff were informed of the news on Thursday, prompting the facility to evacuate or execute a variety of protocols in response, according to CBC. Steve Gercio, executive director of Lab, confirmed that all 3 are currently in self-isolation via an email issued to Lab staff. Manitoba Health has initiated contact tracing, said Guercio. Contact tracing is the practice of figuring out everyone else that may have come in contact with the infected person prior to receiving their test results. So anyways, like I say, so even here, 3 of the staff, people that, like I say, should have had all the equipment, had all the training. It was a closed-off facility, but yet, like even there, with all the protocols in place, and like I say, people that should be competent enough to be able to do exactly what is right at the time, couldn't protect even that type of institution or the people that work within it. So, placing your faith in government, once again, well, why people do it? Well, statism. The cult of statism. Once again, the post-millennial. Watch. Trudeau falsely claims that Canada has tested more people for coronavirus than the U.S. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, this was reported by Robert Wakerwell Cruz, 10th of April. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau falsely claimed that Canada had conducted more COVID-19 tests than the U.S. has in total, despite official figures saying otherwise. Trudeau was discussing the country's plan to implement more testing from province to province when he stated, "We've done significantly more tests in total than the United States has, and they're 10 times the size of us. So we know that Canada's testing regime has been good, but absolutely can get better." But according to a FV's tally, which updates daily as new figures come in, Canada's tested a total of 378,814 people. The number is found by simply adding all the conducted tests from province to province to territory. Yesterday, though, President Donald Trump has announced that the United States has surpassed 2 million tests across the country. So whatever. I mean, what it is, what that comes down to, it seems quite petty, but what it comes down to at the end of the day is Trudeau constantly trying to keep the Canadian people believing in this false pretense that Trump bad, the U.S., they're doing everything terrible. They've always done everything terrible, and Trudeau is just so much superior in every way, right? It's that false narrative that they're trying to put forth on a continuing, ongoing basis, which, like I say, gives a lot of Canadians a false sense of security and a false sense of supremacy, which I don't enjoy that, but it's not based on anything remotely real or tangible, right? It's just a false belief to think that Canada or Trudeau is doing so much better than not just Trump, but like all these other countries that they're trying to compare against, right? And the fact that they suggested up to 80-something or 97% of liberals believe that Trudeau's doing a great job. Well, once again, polling has been proven time and time again to be absolute bullshit as well. Coronavirus business hotline now fielding. Oh, yeah, listen to this one. So I'll get to this one, then I'll get back into the chat, folks, because like I say, I like to get some of these articles done up so that I've got them all on record. Canadian business hotlines now fielding suicide calls during coronavirus outbreak. Once again, this is out of the Post-Millennial, April 10th by Robert Wakerwell Cruz, the same contributor. Some business counselors' hotlines have started taking suicide calls, the Canadian Federal of Independent Business said to the Commons Finance Committee yesterday, Blacklock reports. Just last week alone, we've had 5 small business owners talk to us about suicide, said Federation CEO Dan Kelly. This is how dark this has quickly become for so many small business owners. I can't underscore enough just how dark and dangerous these days are for so many small business owners, Kelly continued. I spent 26 years working with and for small businesses and never and have never seen anything like this. So now they're even having to set up suicide hotlines for small business owners who are, and they're saying could be possibly a third of them who have had to go file bankrupt or going to lose their business and are never coming back. Right? Think about that cost, right? That's a huge amount of cost. And now when you're talking about people, and we've already heard about suicides already, right? So now you're having even business owners who are contemplating suicide, right? That's quite devastating. But once again, nobody's making that measurement or that calculation against, the coronavirus. Once again, it's all, the emphasis is completely one-sided and on, we got to protect anyone. We got to do whatever is humanly possible to protect anyone from even possibly contacting this virus. But once again, it's all those actions that they're using to try to prevent something that's going to happen anyways, just like we just acknowledged that it's going to happen anyways. It's going to happen anyways. So all of the consequences, all of the effects of trying to prevent bad things from happening, which the bad thing's still going to happen, think about all those costs. And like I say, they're going to soon, and if they're not already, going to greatly outstrip any of the benefits from trying to prevent bad things from happening. The costs, to me, as far as I'm concerned, the costs are already outstripping any rewards of this massive crackdown and lockdown or mass quarantine or destruction of the economy. To me, the costs are already outstripping any of the benefits. The cure is definitely being proven, as far as I'm concerned, already this early on to be much worse. The cure is much worse than the disease itself, or should I say the virus itself. So once again, just those 4 articles alone, like I said, if you haven't subscribed to, I believe Post Millennial has a YouTube channel. Actually, I'm not 100% sure. Most of the time, they must, but most of the time I see it because I've liked their Facebook page or I'm following them on Twitter, right? So I get the notifications for their publications. But one way or the other, like I say, whether it's on Twitter or Facebook, or even if you go to their YouTube, although the YouTube channel, you're not going to get these kind of articles. So what I would recommend is, at least follow them on one of the social media pages so you do get access to their articles. Or if you want and help support them financially, then you could just subscribe straight to the Post Millennial, and then you'll get all those notifications anyways, right? So back to the chat, see what everyone's up to. We'll have Tim. Okay. Actually, I started in a pretty good spot. Okay, I see. I've tried to put. Okay. Actually, it doesn't look like maybe no one's commenting. I'm not seeing much on the commenting side here. Hooking up people with power. Trip police powers will go. Still, it'll be like bylaws. The worst of giving powers. Some of my neighbors been hearing someone. Where did that go? Wow, this thing's messing up on me again. Just say no. What are they going to do? Don't need the RSMP for that. Your local busybody on the block will rat your ass out. Yeah, that's true. Is this why military? Just say no. What are they going to do? But the average Canadian, no problem. Just 0.1% should be reason enough to call the government out in this lockdown, but no one will. The police are showing their true color. They are not benevolent. They are a force of coercion. Yes, well, that's what they are anyways. China plague. Suspicious alone is enough to be forcefully removed from your home and put into camp under the authority of the Quarantine Act. Like I say, crazy shit, folks. Illegals walking in still in planes from China too. Some people still think they will be above the mean average. So if they just be good and do as told, they will get their business back. But what happens if no checks come? And it's snowing, and we are. So they let out criminals. How many following self-isolation after we gain some freedom? So when it comes to that point, fire, from what I understand, the ones that they're releasing from jail, and I read one particular example they were using was someone that was awaiting trial for possession charges, right? Weed. I believe it was marijuana or some other drug. So they were on possession charges for something that's actually, deemed legal now. Although it's legal only if you get a government approved license. That's the thing. So that's the thing. If something is legal, that's the thing, because nobody understands that there's that morality comes into the equation, and people just believe in this, they can just make morality whatever the hell they want it to be, is for it to be illegal. Like if the government, like if I sell weed to someone, but yet I'm a Canadian Cannabis Corporation listed on the stock market, and I sell a Canadian consumer cannabis, well, it's all good because the government said I'm okay because I got a license and I give them a cut, right? But if Matt in apartment 6B does that for the rest of the people in his building who are cannabis consumers that go up and, hey, Matt, you got some weed? Yeah, oh, yeah. What do you need? What, quarter, half? What do you want? Ounce? What do you, right? They do the exact same thing, sell that marijuana to a customer, make that voluntary interaction. It's illegal. Why? Because Matt in apartment 6B is not like, here, let me give government a cut. So what the hell made something illegal or unjust about it? Nothing other than government eating, right? A bunch of bullies saying, well, you got to give me my cut, otherwise I'm going to turn you into a criminal. So there are people, or those cannabis, they've already tried shutting down a few of these cannabis things as well. And once again, those people have to go through the legal system. And if they don't have, if they've had past convictions or whatever, well, now they've got enough convictions that a judge say, okay, well, no, you've repeated these offenses enough, so now you're going into jail, right? Pending bail, which is what happens to a lot of these people. They're in jail pending bail, so they haven't caused no harm to anyone. It's what would be called a victimless crime. As far as I'm concerned, it's actually not a crime because they're doing the exact same thing, like I say, that other people are doing. So if it's legal for some, then it should be legal for everyone else, right? That's the whole point of having any pretense of legality, or at least if you're going to have universality in terms of laws. Otherwise, you're just saying it's legal for this person, but not legal for this. So then it's not really legal after all. Like legality, if it's subjective, then what's the point in playing the game of legality or justice, right? It's all just subjective once again. But yeah, some of these people that are being released, and I would suggest the overwhelming majority of them, obviously, are people who are non-violent criminals. So why do you, like, these people are already in jail for something that they shouldn't be in jail for in the first fucking place. I would be saying, even without the coronavirus, for these people who are locked up pending trial for selling, distributing, or cultivating a plant, like growing, because that's another thing. People still get sent to jail for growing a bunch of weed because you're only allowed there's still all kinds of criminal laws on the book to punish people that don't go along with government edicts. So there's still going to be people constantly being locked up for, like I say, victimless crimes. Or someone that, maybe didn't pay enough of their child support and got thrown in jail because of, I don't know. Like there's lots of reasons why people could be in jail that haven't actually caused an actual a victim in terms of an actual criminal, like a crime. So the fact that they're being, why does that concern you? I think they should be out anyways. Don't worry about these people, right? I see that all the time, and obviously I would assume Point Fire, kind of a gun advocate. Probably, I would suggest just by that, you're probably on the right side of that political spectrum. Probably a big, law and order kind of person, right? Take yourself out of that fucking mentality first and foremost, and recognize that there are a lot of people that are locked up in cages today for absolutely no reason. They shouldn't be. But because government edicts create these laws to put them in jail, well, like I say, I err on the side of genuine morality, genuine ethics, and genuine crimes, right? If people are locked up for stupid shit, then yes, you're damn right they should be released. Coronavirus or not. Still not allowed outside. Hey, there's a lot of things people aren't allowed to do, and yet people do them every day. Trust me, the 37 million Canadians alive, they say on average, I don't know if it's every day, but on average, I'll just say you all break a law. If it's not every day, in the run of a week or a month, every Canadian alive has broken at least one law, because there's so many fucking laws that try to attempt to dictate and control every aspect of your life. So lawbreakers, you're all lawbreakers. You're all sinners in the eye. So that is the one, right? Gato, that one in Winnipeg. Well, that's that one, that story that broke before this whole coronavirus thing. This whole story broke out. Remember, I shared that already too, because CBC had to report on it. They reported on it. The media outlets in this country reporting on it were that level 4 lab, the RCMP were investigating something that happened in that level 4 lab, right? I don't know if that's the same lab, then seems like some shit going on in that lab. That's right. I don't know. Like, seems pretty weird to me, if you ask me. But hey, who am I to challenge? Right? Don't dare say anything. Like I say, got to make sure in this Orwellian world that I'm stay confined, right? And don't say anything that's not allowed. Can't have wrong thinking, wrong speak going on. Slowing spread is a good plan. Oh, I agree. Slowing spread is always a good plan. But how do you do so, right? So that's the thing. That sounds good in theory. Slowing spread is a good plan. I agree. But how do you go about doing it? There's where we're going to find our disagreement. The concept sounds like a good concept, right? And I agree that we should be doing as much as we can voluntarily without authoritarian mommy or daddy telling us what to do or locking us down or preventing us from leaving our homes. Yes, I think we should be practicing some responsibility as adults, 100%, to try to help slow the spread. But that's all you're going to do is slow it. You're still not going to prevent it. So once again, at some point in time, and any of you people that want to make the argument, I'm looking for people every day. I've yet to have one person that will take me up on this task. I want someone to actually sit and have a live stream debate or informal debate, like not where you can take as long as you want to say what you've got to say. But I'm looking for someone that wants to make that argument that government needs to do these things, and that's the only way that we can prevent things like the virus from spreading or people from contacting. Or like, I want someone to put forth and make an argument, make their case for the government in doing what they're doing. Can someone please? I mean, come on. There's obviously lots of people even in this chat. Or at least there's enough people. There's some people that even in this chat or in this country that disagrees with me. So can you at least show some courage and come on and fucking prove me wrong? Make your case. Like I said, one person, please, come on. Like I say, I'll send a link to anybody. Just come and make your case. Because as much as you, like a lot of people that think that, well, I like what government's doing. Okay, if you're one of those 97% of liberals that believe that, then come have a conversation. Pretty sure I can prove that you're the one that's not thinking critically about anything. I can prove that just by having a conversation with you, which is why no one wants to give me the opportunity to do so, because they know I'll destroy the delusion and the bullshit that's roaming around their head. That's what I do. That's kind of what I do. Oh, okay. No level 4 virology lab has not leaked yet. No, I didn't say that, but we were talking about that lab in Manitoba, right? Natural law is just that, natural, yeah. How would this happen if they were out at sea nearly... Oh, yeah, I don't know, because I was here long before they blew the whistle. The same one where 2 Chinese scientists were removed. Yeah, but once again, I'm not sure if that's the lab that they're talking about. I don't know what the hell, like... How would this happen? Okay. I work in a level 2 microbiology lab, and with the measures we have, we would never, ever get an incident like this. Well, so that tells me from what Gato's saying is, yeah, which makes sense, right? That's kind of the requirements to work in these facilities is to make sure you're protecting not just yourself, but the public. So, yeah, it seems like a strange thing that would happen in a place such as that, right? It's crazy shit. Good times. World Health Organization hired many more Chinese agents. Should all Chinese be investigated that hold government position or jobs with such dangerous abilities, or am I being racist? Should all Chinese be investigated that hold government positions or jobs with such dangerous abilities? Investigated? I mean, unless somebody did something wrong, like why would you be? There has to be some, I mean, wherever that, like, to me, they should be investigating where the hell the virus came from. And if there are people, like if in Canada, that people are making mistakes or people are contacting this virus in a place that they shouldn't, like, yes, there should be investigations, but should you do it based on people's skin color or their background or heritage? No. It's investigations or anything should be built on, is there suspicion of a crime? Who cares about the color of the people or their heritage or their background or their race? Is there a crime being committed, or is there a potential crime being committed? And who the hell are the potential suspects? Like narrowing it down, proper investigations. But just because someone happens to be, Chinese, no, not necessarily. BC isn't the money laundering capital of Canada for nothing. Yeah, how would this happen? Oh, I see that came up multiple times. You guys are so paranoid. Jungle Viral. Guess my tax returns won't get done anytime soon. Yeah. What's the rush? Hey, don't worry. The debts and deficits all just pay for themselves magically, according to Trudeau, right? I will make a prediction. The RCMP will track people with their cell phones. If your cell phone is far from your home, they will go and knock on your door, leave your cell phone at home, or remove batteries. Well, I was talking about that actually earlier today. And it's about time some of these smartphone makers come out with a smartphone. I seen a couple. There were a couple prototypes, but there should be at least one on the market now where they're kind of somewhat module based, right? So you can remove the microphone if you need to. You can remove the GPS tracker if you need to. You can remove the Bluetooth device with it. Like if you could remove these things, then you could still have your actual phone to use in for phones, for messaging, and have an encryption, right? End-to-end encryption. But there should be smartphones out there and available today, especially knowing now that this, and I'm sure they may very well come too late now after all this has come, after we're learning about how governments are using our smartphones, or Google and Apple and all these companies are using our smartphones to track and locate us and all that shit and hand off that information to governments. Where are the smartphone developers and designers? In a market environment, there would already be smartphones that had not just end-to-end encryption, but all these ways to make sure that government can't do a goddamn thing. That you can have just like people like carry around cash, because government can't track everything you do when you pay in cash, right? We should have ability that government should not be able to track us in any way. Whatever happened to the concerns with privacy, right? And government overreach. These smartphone makers and developers should be already, and there should be obviously, if you have enough of, I imagine there's at least enough Canadians that would be concerned with having that. There should be a demand for just such a device, as far as I'm concerned. I know I would want one. Please hold on. Your call is, suicide hotline. Please hold on. Your call is important to this. Can't fathom what would constitute a bad job to liberals. Yeah, I don't know. They got too much faith in their political masters. Tape your cell phone to the neighbor's cat and watch the RCMP. Children cry when they hear him on. Oh, it's devastating what they're doing to the kids these days. Matt, I was all about the revenue when it comes. No more mention cell phones because cancer. They never proved that. Imagine if someone ratted you ratted you out and you got out and they said that they will not respond to certain calls. Means Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. No Bluetooth to stereo. Many great philosophers delved into natural laws. Not everyone in jail is bad. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not everyone in jail. Exactly. That's the thing. People think that just because someone's locked up in jail is like, fucking bunch of authoritarians put them in there for bullshit, right? What the hell, man? Just because you're in jail, like, people in their fucking faith in, like I say, all these people that are the worst among us. For every criminal act that the average Canadian does, like just the private citizen, for every one criminal act that you're fearful that these private citizens do as a criminal act, the political class, the media class, those in high finance or the central banker, they commit way worse crimes on a regular basis. The difference is, of course, is they're above the law. They don't have to abide by the law, right? None of the people that were that caused the financial crisis, none of them are in jail. They caused a whole lot of harm. They caused a whole lot of people, not just death by suicide, but people losing their entire livelihood. People that destroyed their careers. I mean, they destroyed all their savings they built up, robbed their economic. Because that's the other thing. If you lose money, people think, oh, well, it's only money. Well, no, but those people work for that money, which means if they lost all that money or their house, which once again, they worked for to pay for that house, or at least partially, that means that they were a slave all that time, because it's basically like they worked for free. So Slavery's pretty bad, right? Slavery's pretty bad as far as I'm concerned, even if it's only for a few years or 10 years or however long it took that person to pay for whatever was stolen from them. Or the fact that government steals from them from basically from the time you're a productive member of society till the time you fucking stop becoming a productive member of society. Government's constantly stealing through you throughout the entire course of your life. But once again, that's okay though, right? Like I say, people that put on these virtue signaling bullshit, you're not virtuous at all if you're virtue signaling and defending government and suggesting that everyone in jail are criminals. But the people that are your thought leaders or the people that put them, I mean, a lot of the lawyers, right, are fucking just as big of criminals as the people that are behind bars, or even worse criminals than the people behind bars. But because they, are part of the system, once again, it's like just, I don't know, so weird. And why people think like that? Because they've been taught to think that way. If the government says you're a bad person or a criminal, then, well, everyone just says, well, then you must be a bad person or criminal. That's the same with me. Having a few beer on my ATV, and yeah, I know some people have heard this many times before. It's like, oh, is Bennett going to bring up his own personal situation? Yeah, I am. So yeah, I'm deemed a criminal because I had a few beer while I was out riding my ATV on a trail, a rural trail, not on a road, on a rural trail in like the middle of fucking bumfuck to Idaho, New Brunswick. In the middle of nowhere in New Brunswick, out in the rural area, driving my ATV, didn't cause no harm to no one, driving my ATV, right? Having a few beer. I'm a criminal, right? I could be in jail for such a thing. And I should be, because the government said I'm a criminal, so therefore, well, then Bennett should be in jail, right? Like I say. And a lot of people would fucking believe and go along with that shit. Why? Because someone told them that that's what it means. If government tells you that Bennett's bad and Bennett's a criminal, well, you better hope that Bennett fucking suffers tremendously for not following the orders or edicts of his political master, right? Yeah, I know there's a lot. I've already met, and which is why I don't talk to a whole lot of people much anymore. I have some people that I trust, a small circle of friends, or people or associates, or people that like say that I can't talk to. Other than that, because I recognize that most of my fellow Canadians would just as soon see my life fucking in tatter for not abiding by political edicts, is yeah, like I say. I know there's lots of you out there. I know you are. What's going on, Tommy Gunn? I bought shares and lost dearly. What? And hopefully not. You bought shares? Oh, come on, Tommy Gunn. Did you seriously buy shares in those cannabis companies? Like well, if you had been watching my videos a while ago, I warned people, don't be foolish enough, because if you think that they're going to destroy the black market that's already is very, very well established in this country and has been like since I was a kid, it's been, like I say, no problem. Go from coast to coast of this country. No problem. Find yourself a local marijuana or cannabis dealer that gets you some good high quality product at a reasonable price. So I knew right away, like, yeah, big old fail, like I say. So, well, hopefully lessons learned there, Tommy Gunn. Oh, but sold without losing my shirt. But, well, glad you got out of it quickly enough, right? But a lot of people, but hey, like I say, live and learn. The only thing that doesn't lose money is on hands precious metals unless they're suppressed. Well, currently, yeah, precious metals aren't losing because, like I say, they have intrinsic value and lots of other things too. Anyways, 2 sets of one for government and one for the citizen. Yep. Gold coin waiting for 3 weeks from Canadian Mint. Right on. Well, that's good for you there, Tom, again, for sure. 20K. Well, I mean, gold, because definitely gold is going to help at least retain that value, right? Because that's really about what you don't have a whole lot left these days, but gold and silver will definitely at least help retain that purchasing power and that value, right? Because, yeah, bonds aren't going to do it. Stock market, no. As we've seen, there's still a whole lot of volatility. And why? Because, yeah, all the the reported earnings and the valuations, like there's a reason why a lot of those, even those tech companies are called unicorns, right? Is they're completely severed from anything even remotely resembling what an actual market valuation would be. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to be investing in the stock market unless you're one of those short traders. But that's just like I say, that's just gambling. That's just casino bullshit there, where you're benefiting other people's stupidity. I mean, people voluntarily choose to do that. So hey, whatever. Like, to each their own. I personally don't want to get into that stuff. I don't like taking advantage of stupid people, even though I recognize there are a lot of stupid people. If I was one of those people, boy, I could be a very wealthy man at this point in time. If I didn't have the kind of morality and ethics baked into who I am, what I am as a person, I wouldn't have to be sitting here hoping that people donate $5 here or $10 here or $20 there. I'd have tons of money and be in a much more secure place financially. But unfortunately, the world that we live in today, to make an honest buck, well, you're going to be poor. If you're an honest person trying to make an honest buck, well, just be prepared to live pretty meager. And you know what? I'm cool with that. Because, like I say, I lay my head down. I sleep good at night, and I'm pretty sure I'll be able to sleep pretty well for the rest of my life and not have such a guilty conscience. Yeah, lots of people want this crisis. We're all sinners, and there's no better time as this weekend to repent. Well said, Terry M. And with this weekend, as I've told lots of people before, listen, you know, as much as I like to say, I'm all about clarity of thought, clarity of language, and clarity of thought, clarity of mind, right? And thinking about things objectively. If there's one thing I've said so many times before but it's my personal relationship. So it's not, like I say, it's not like I have this crazy, it's not the kind of thing that you hear from some of your established religions. But I do, personally, I choose to believe in a creator, in a higher authority of some sorts. Because, I mean, the earth came from somewhere. We humans, nature, the universe, like even if you talk about the Big Bang, right? What existed before the Big Bang? You know, evolutionary scientists or astronomers or people that study, right, the history of the universe, they can get you all the way back to the Big Bang. But prior to that, everything prior to that is still theorizing, are still hypotheticals. Nobody knows, even science doesn't know how everything come to exist. Like I say, so whether it's the Big Bang or like what was taught to me from the Bible is, you know, God created, you know, in a moment, right? God created the heavens and the earth, and, you know, 6 days and rest on the seventh. Like I say, it doesn't mean you have to believe all that stuff, but I do like to believe in a creator, and I like to believe in the story that if there is a creator, that the creator is benevolent in some form, or believes in the things that, like I say, represented the ideal of God, or what God represented under Christianity. Although I think a modern iteration, you know, Jesus Christ as the example, is even better as far as that goes. But yes, to me, if we're going to have to abide by a particular kind of morality, then it has to be universal. At least when you're talking about God, God doesn't say, you know, theft is wrong, but it's okay for whatever. Now, I know some people say, oh yeah, but, you know, Jesus said, well, pay Caesar his due, right? But what that is, that's basically a metaphor with saying, it's not to suggest that what Caesar does is right. What that is basically to suggest is, yeah, don't destroy your life on earth by refusing to pay Caesar, because if you don't pay Caesar, you will die. So that means you will have your own life cut off abruptly as a consequence. I believe that metaphorically was to suggest, you know, yeah, render under Caesar what is his, what he demands, what he requires. Not that it's the right thing or not that it's good, but so that you know, it's that turning of the cheek kind of a thing, right? And you'll feel better off for yourself by still being able to be alive and be there for your families. Like I say, but that's the thing with some of these metaphors and some of these meta stories is it does create, and I've noticed that it does create a class of people who are willing to conform to, like I say, they'll enslave their own mind and cause a whole lot of harm to themselves and the people they love on this pretense that, but we're meant to do that. We have to do this because, and if we do it now, we'll be benefited or rewarded, you know, afterlife, in death. But I'm saying, as much as I love like the pretense and a lot of the aspects of Christianity, I believe if a God truly does exist and believes in the kind of things that God's supposed to represent, such as the idealism in terms of, you know, morals and ethics, is to know. I would agree. I would disagree with the constant turn of the other cheek, because what we're seeing time and time again, the turning of the other cheek, or, you know, rendering under Caesar, well, that just means that we're going to constantly live forever off into eternity under the thumb of Caesar. So that's one area where, like, I understand what it is. It puts people in a good psychology so that even if you are being oppressed, stolen from, having your life micromanaged, dictated, control, it can put you in a positive mindset and think, well, I can put up with all this because, the golden gates are just on the other side. Heaven is just a little ways beyond. So I get why, that works good to put people in that kind of positive mentality and psychology. But once again, I also see how devastating and destructive it's been. But I'm definitely, as a lot of people know, I do like to believe in a higher power or an authority and an ideal, right? But that's my personal thing. I keep that in my personal life. That's once I'm out dealing with people socially or economically, well, yeah, I don't believe in using mysticism for any economic transactions or social interactions. Then I deal with the objective world. But in my private space, in my private, in my mind, what my relationship between what I want to call a God, that's me. That's between me and what I want to consider to be God, right? Or the highest ideal, the representation of the highest ideal, or what a moral being or entity or the creator represents. But yes, well, that's the thing. That's where we need to recognize is you have to know the difference between your private life and your social life, your public life. Private life, you can believe in the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus. You can, lots of people believe in mystical things and mystical constructs, and that's okay. But once again, the difference is when we start to deal with each other in the economic or the social realm. Then we have to deal with things that are universalized and logically consistent, right? That is where, because that's the thing, the person we're dealing with on the other side of that transaction, socially or economically, might not believe in the same God. So that's a private thing. Public thing, we have to have a more secular form of morality or ethics, right? Don't hit, don't steal. Like all those things should be done in a more secular, universalized way, because not everyone's going to believe in the God that I want to use as the pretense of an ultimate moral authority. So anyways, forget about all that. But yeah, with this weekend being Easter, like I say, it's a good time to keep that relationship with a true higher ideal or God. And remember that God is 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times better than this pretense of putting your faith in other fallible human beings, such as government. TD have given me the runaround, so I cannot get my property in my hands. Very angry at this point. Yeah, it's frustrating. Hey kids, son of Rambo. The NDP and other socialist trash will never have an honest debate. No. Trying to sell property. Okay, look up Jan Hatfield. He made every politician look like complete scumbags with his interview. Yeah, well, his interview, it's the Socratic method, right? That's what Jan Hatfield does, is he uses the Socratic method. And the Socratic method, like I say, is an excellent way, because rather than when you just tell people, like, based on your own perspective or opinions, that people automatically, or a lot of people will automatically reject it because, like, oh yeah, no, you think that way doesn't mean I have to think that way. But the Socratic method allows people to think to come up with their own constructs in their mind, and then they recognize, right? That's the thing. And they might not let it be known, right? You might not notice it in their eyes if they got a good poker face, but when they're repeating or regurgitating the rhetoric jammed in their head, and once they hear it for themselves when they're speaking it, their brain is recognizing, oh yeah, I'm contradicting a lot of things by saying that. So that cognitive dissonance, as long as it's happening in the privacy of their own mind, they'll be able to work through it much easier, which is why the Socratic method works so well. And because they have to constantly contradict themselves, because they're the ones that's coming up with their own construct or the words that are coming out of the mouth. The Socratic method, like just by the sheer fact that it allows the proof to come out where they're constantly contradict themselves all the time. Like I say, that destroys the validity of their argument or the credibility of their stance, because they're constantly contradicting themselves. So yeah, the Socratic method it's a great way to do so, and that's just something that Jan Hatfield is really, really good at. Yeah, so I agree. Comment test. Hey, what's going on? China plague. I saw that, but it's good price. It's almost impossible to make a case. How long have I been going on? I told the wife I wouldn't go on any more than a couple hours today. So 79. So yeah. So we're still under an hour and a half here. So we got a little while yet. So like I say, let me get to the chat here. I'm going to scroll way down because I see it's giving me the arrow that I've been getting behind the times here. Taxes still have to be paid for instead of April 30th, move to July. If you get any funds from the virus, make sure you put enough way to put taxes on it. What's going on, Cody Leatherdale? Good afternoon, folks. Peace. Government doesn't like competition. No, they sure don't. Doesn't anyone still believe this COVID BS? I don't believe a whole lot of what being reported on it, but do I believe that the COVID virus is real? Yes, I do believe that. But a lot of the things, how it's being reported on and portrayed, I don't believe a lot of the rhetoric that's being espoused these days. Tam should be arrested. Adam's apple, Tam. Did you get a lawyer? 3 to 5 days. Who? I don't know. Who's? Oh, maybe for a Tommy gun. Okay. 3 to 5 days BS. Been going close to a month. It's the biggest scam. Folks, virtue signal because weak people with little control like to excuse and expose themselves upon another to feel they have, The public have been turned into a freak show. Yeah, but they did it to themselves. Feds blocking Canadians getting antibody testing that would prove we are immune and do not need. He should have just put taxes on the growing supplies and allowed local farming of cannabis. Why would you want taxes? Like, taxation is theft. Like, come on, you guys have been in here watching my videos enough and my streams enough, Stan. Come on, taxation is theft. So you're saying he should have just stolen a portion of the already growing supplies and allow the local farmers. Like, why do they have to steal? Like, think about it. Why does everything have to be stolen from? Like, even income tax. Like, what? There's income tax. There's goods and service tax. There's property tax. Why is it with you people? What is it with you people? And you constantly believe that theft is the ultimate means to the end. And I can't help but look at that your profile picture. Are you a military guy? Because I find a lot of military and people on the right side of the police is like, did you not have fucking parents or grandparents that used to identify as conservative that said that keep government small and taxation is bad, right? Because a lot of people that used to identify as conservatives that were business owners that had to be forced to, pay a lot of portion of the income from their business to the government. What the fuck happened to people? Like, what is that? Stop using theft. Taxation is theft. Just sit there. Here, just do a little experiment there, Stan. Someday just sit there for 1,000 times. Remember you ever watch Simpsons where he has to write on the chalkboard? You should do that, but just do it in your head, or if you got a chalkboard, do it. Taxation is theft. Taxation is theft. Taxation, because obviously you've got to hear a whole lot more times before you realize that no, you shouldn't be advocating for theft, right? If you want people's money, ask them for it. Make it a voluntary interaction, right? That's the other thing. People on the right. You went to church, right? You know the difference between a church and the collection plate and the government and the fucking taxation is that the church and the collection plate, they come around and hand it out, and it's passed through the aisles or or what they call the pews or whatever the hell, when you're supposed to be there to fucking say, oh, you're a bad person, or we're going to lock you up, or we're going to punish you, or we'll get that out of you somehow. Oh, you're not paying up today. Oh, we'll confiscate your house, or we'll garnish your wages, right? No, it was all voluntary. But you noticed whenever you went to church, you noticed that collection plate ended up getting filled up, right? There was still a collection plate handed out, and it still got filled up every week by a lot of people who were willing to voluntarily contribute to the collection plate. And they did so because they were good people that wanted to help, and they had the means at their disposal to help. That worked out fine. Government says, no, we're going to take it whether you want to offer it or not. So rather than hand around the plate and ask people to voluntarily contribute, then, no, I'm just going to take it from you against your will. So don't pretend that you're a Christian or you're moral, especially on this fucking Easter weekend, if you advocate for theft as a means to an end. Sorry, Stan, I hate to bring this up here, but you know what? To me, truth is way more important than worrying about if Stan's going to like my video or come watch my stream next week. All right? I'd rather tell you the truth today, Stan, and try to hammer home how important it is to be, because I'm sure you have people in your family, like, are you teaching younger people to think that theft is okay? Because like I said, I'm a little bit worried that the millennials are going to grow up and believe in this same kind of bullshit of theft is okay, right? To me, it's like, no, it's not. Theft is not okay. You can't make an argument for me that it's okay to steal from me. Sorry. You can try all you want, but you're not going to be able to make that one stick for me. I'll expect lower subscriber count after this stream is done. Whatever. COVID-19 can remain dormant for years, in some cases, decades. COVID-19 can remain dormant for years, in some cases, decades. Okay. Fuck, man. Am I going to have to, like, go on like a fucking a band hammer with, because, like, this kind of shit is so, or just move. No, I'll just move on. But COVID-19 is not just coronavirus or COV-2, like the original iterations of these kind of flu viruses stuff. COVID-19 is brand new. It's fucking new. Like, do you have some information that the rest of us aren't privy to? How can you suggest that it can remain dormant for years, or some cases decades, when it hasn't been around long enough to know? Oh, man, don't rely on these people for your information is all I'm saying. And if you are relying on, like, the people that are relying on just say up yours for that kind of information is, wow. Yeah, go ahead and repeat that stuff. And then you will fucking have people say that, okay, where'd you get that information? I don't know what the hell. I don't know, man. Like I say. So they took your money and never sent the product. Oh. Opportunity in crisis, real or perceived as real. I'm not sure exactly. I'm still going to keep doing it, though. No matter how frustrated I get, I'm still going to keep doing this for the few people that fucking really, like to hear it, need to hear it. Anyways, is TD using the excuse as a crisis? Okay. I've said before too, this John H23Z, bye-bye. I've told people before, if you come to my stream and you start to advocate for violence, then bye-bye. I don't need your goddamn shit. I don't need your views that bad. I really, really don't. So if I see it, first time, because I don't have, actually, if Gato's still there, I'd ask him, but I'll just do it myself anyways. But because I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time scrolling through, hard enough to keep on top of the comments, the good ones, the reasonable ones. But if I got to I'll just fucking ban your ass, and then I won't have to worry about you again. So whatever. Like I said, I don't usually do that stuff, because most people that show up at my stream, most people, which I'm very appreciative of, most of you people who do, don't come off with this stupid shit. But the knuckle draggers that do, yeah, you're not going to last on this channel very long, because I don't need people coming here, doing that kind of crap. I really hope you get, okay. Bennett, the supernatural doesn't exist. Did you? Yeah, but you heard what I said, right, Victor? Like, that's the thing. Like, I know you're an atheist. It's not like I don't know that. We've had this discussion. Actually, if anyone wants to check, I've had chats with Victor Pross. He's at a BC. We've had discussions many a time, and he's an atheist. Like, but I don't bring that to, like I say, that's I'm allowed to have my own personal relationship, right? That's okay. I don't bring it out into the rest of the world when I'm dealing with anyone else, as you would know, right? I still deal with the objective real world that surrounds me. I don't know why it is that people that are atheists are scared to death of people that believe in God. Like, you don't have to, right? All right, well, no, not you, obviously. That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. My wife doesn't believe in God. We don't have to. My kids were raised to understand that their dad likes to believe, but I've always explained this. So, anyways, I don't know. Who cares? Who cares? But actually, we don't know. And actually, you can't even make that statement, to be honest with you. We don't know, as far as we know, and because we have to navigate in the world that we're in. But what I would say is you don't know, right? That's really, because all we really have to offer at the day, even the greatest scientific minds on this planet, atheist, Richard Dawkins, now they all would have to say, I don't know. I don't know. Because nobody knows what happened prior to, the Big Bang, right? If someday they figure that out, then they can say that they finally do know, right? Where does life come from? Where did the universe, how did it come to exist? Nobody knows that yet. So people, that's the thing. At least I'm willing to accept that I just don't know. And because I don't know, that's the thing. Because I realize I don't know, I'm going to function in the world that I actually do exist. Just like people could say all the time that we're just the brains in a bucket, you know, the old Matrix thing, right? That could be true too. But because I don't know, I'm going to function in the world as if we're real tangible human beings. Because when I pinch my skin, it hurts. If I cut it, I bleed. So I will function in this world, like I say, when I'm out dealing with everyone else, or if I'm trying to figure out, like, you know, how to build an engine. Like, I've built many engines in my life, and I don't say, well, hey, God, can you help me with this? Hey, I'm having a trouble. Like I say, it's okay to realize that nobody has an answer of how we all come to exist. It's okay to believe in some, you know, higher, especially when you're talking about morals and ethics, because like I say, or all, not just Canadians, but people in the world today, they look to government or God for their morality. And like I say, I don't, well, I mean, some people, I guess, atheists or anarchists, atheists, don't. They look towards more philosophical. So like people like Ayn Rand with her objectivist philosophy, or like Stefan Molyneux with his UPB, right? Or even just go back to Aristotle and some of the teachings of Aristotle, which is fine. That's totally fine. Like I say, I'll take philosophy, right? I'd take philosophy over the belief in God as well, right? Because philosophy is basically the pursuit of knowledge and truth. And when you're talking about, and as the branches, whether it's epistemology and metaphysics, but ethics is part of that, like, of philosophical teachings or understanding. So we have to figure out some way to have secular ethics. But like I say, that's the really only time that really matters is if we're dealing with each other. You know, if you want, like, people want to believe, lots of people might want to dream at night that Superman is that higher ideal that they believe in. That's where they gain their authority in terms of morality, right? Because maybe Superman was a really good guy or whatever, or maybe it's Mel Gibson's character on in Braveheart. Like, that's their ideal of the, you know, the ideal man or whatever. Like, whatever floats your boat, folks. Like I say, but at the end of the day, it's really the only thing that matters is when we're dealing with each other outside of the constructs in our own mind. I have the ability, fortunately, to clarify things properly. But yeah, I definitely, I'm on side and on board with Victor. And like, mysticism is, if you allow too much mysticism in your mind and you destroy objective clarity, then yeah, you are susceptible to being easily led astray, because, well, then any fool can come along and invent their own God, which is what government's done, right? So I get what you're saying there, Victor. If you want to talk about the Big Bang, nothing was created. Positive and negative energy was produced, but the sum of energy of the universe is zero, so there's no creation in this theory. Once again, though, if you want, I would love to have that conversation. I don't think it goes very far, because I've heard people, like I say, even like some of the greatest minds, it never gets anywhere. Because once again, you can't get to the point when there's always some point, the beginning, where it's like, well, how did that happen? How did that come to exist? And nobody has come to figure out how to explain that yet. But anyways, this is so far beyond what I was looking to talk about today. So let's just move on from that. Once again, that wasn't meant to say that we should believe in mysticism. Like, just by saying this, like, see how it can be misconstrued, which is, yeah, we humans have a rough time communicating here. It's a tough time for us to communicate back and forth with each other, because even people that should understand where we're all coming from can't even figure this stuff out. So do I have much faith in the rest of society getting up to speed and on board with any of these things? No, because we can't even come to any agreements. Bank manager told me they will be making it. Must have caught a little green man in his pot of gold. Yeah. Oh yeah, they'll be making it. Yeah, they'll just create money out of nowhere. Is it racist to avoid frogs that have skin colors to indicate their, or would that be a critical thing? Okay, that's just lame as shit. Well, when God created man, she was only joking. Trish Farrell. When God created man, she was only joking. That's a good one. Funny. Great, I ordered one on the birthstone coins for my daughter. Okay, must be talking back and forth. Jesus said, give back to Caesar that is Caesar's and to God what is God's. Yeah. That's the thing. Caesar's what is Caesar's, right? That's a direct Bible quote. Oh, okay, right on. Yeah. Give back to Caesar's. But that was basically alluding to the taxation thing, though, right? What if Jesus never died and really was resurrected and lived in old age? Don't know. Means don't trade in their currency. Have you thought of the potential that we live in virtual reality? There's always that. Yeah, there's people, like I say, just like I was bringing up earlier about we're just brains in a bucket or hooked up like the Matrix, right? Take the red pill or the blue pill. Like I say, those hypotheticals, just like creation, most human beings, there's not much point in trying to. I mean, if you just want to do it, like I say, just because you're one of those curious people and maybe you could come up with a whole new theory, that's fine. But for most of our lives, we all think about it. We all have to function to have any semblance of normalcy. We all have to function in this world as if it's, it is exactly what we believe it is, that it's an objective. It's a big, giant, round globe, this planet floating through space, 1,000 miles an hour. We all function under the pretense that the earth and the universe is exactly basically how science describes it, right? And that's kind of how I align with as well. But I mean, like I say, for people that want to take the deep dive into their mind and test out hypotheticals and figure out potential different theories to explain how the whole universe was created, like that's fine. Like that's actually people trying to advance and expand on that knowledge, right? And the pursuit of truth. So that's great. But yeah, in my real work, like in my day-to-day life, as I travel or not traveling so much now, but as I live my life, as it unfolds, I live every day as if, objective reality exists. I'm a real human being with free will and the whole thing. Like I bleed, and if I bleed out, I die, and if I die, I'm dead. I believe all that stuff because that's what the real world is representative to me. Trying to deny the real world and live in some different abstract that may or may not be true. Well, it could, like I say, because it's hypothetical and there's no way to prove otherwise. At least, like I say, right now, under the current way this system is set up, or the way the Earth functions, or the way gravity functions, or the way the speed of light functions, science explains things that, like I say, I can live a consistent life where things make sense. I don't want to get into this pretense where everything is speculation and nothing makes sense. Because that's kind of a weird way to live. I wouldn't want to live that way. It seems really hard on the head, right? But yeah, definitely like to think outside the box from time to time for sure. Thanks, Tom again. You are your own authority. Yes. Well, to a certain degree. When it comes to authority, actually morality, like if we're going to have anything remotely resembling morality, is morality in terms of that is the authority. Morality is the abstract, the pretense that we humans create so that keeps us so that we're not doing things to harm each other, right? So if morality is the construct, or that what we create to teach us how to interact and engage with the other socially, then that is the authority. Morality is the authority, not me, not someone else, or not anyone's interpretation. That's why for it to be moral or to be a consistent ethic is it has to be universalized, where it's like it's not mine, it's not yours, it's just like 2 + 2 is 4. I'm not the one that gets to say 2 + 2 is 4. You're not the one that gets to say 2 + 2 is 4. It's just by sheer fact that 2 + 2 is 4. And it can be universalized whether I say it here in Canada or I say it in China, halfway around the world. Like, and you can prove that to be true every example you test it. So morality, like I say, don't hit, don't steal, all of these things in terms of morality or ethics, it's not mine, it's not yours, is for it to be valid, for it to be true, is it universal? Can it be universalized? If it can be universalized, then it is valid and it is true. So there's that. Wow, the chat's just flying today. Right on. Cool. Glad to hear, Mr. G. Rich. Hey, what's going on? Daniel Grant. I'm down the bottom here now, folks, just so I'm not missing out on too much stuff. Oh, bummer. You can start indoor seeds. When does your winter usually finish? Yeah, actually, the wife just started a whole bunch of seeds. I think she got like 30 or 50 different little seedlings starting out for our garden that we're going to have. Yeah, we're definitely doing what we can to make sure we've got redundancy built in, especially this year. This is actually going to be the first year that we're actually going to go full in and actually have a garden in the backyard, although it's probably going to be on the side part of our lawn, because the side part of the lawn actually gets more of the sun, more hours of the day. If we put it in the backyard, the sun doesn't get back there till later in the day. But yeah, we're definitely going to be growing a garden. And I would suggest most people that it's just a good idea these days. And actually, if you have any relatives that are getting on in their years, I'm going to be reaching out to my uncle there possibly, because I know my grandfather, he passed away, but he had a whole lot of heirloom seeds that I'd love to see if there's any they've got up there, and maybe use some of them as well. But yeah, getting to learn some of those fundamental basics and getting kind of used to and accustomed to, a little bit more self-sufficiency is probably not a bad idea at this time. Even if everything goes back to normal, or anything that's remotely quasi-resembling normal, although I'm hoping that we don't go back to that normal that we had even before this. I don't want to ever go back to that fucking collective delusion normal, right? That is a representation of, like, basically since I've been alive. No, I want there to be a new normal. But like I say, even if the new normal means that, hey, we're all back to, grocery stores are filled up, nobody's got to worry, I still think it's probably a good idea for a lot of people to learn some of these things. Like, it maybe puts you in touch with nature, maybe puts you in a better mindset, showing for yourself that, hey, I can take care of business when things are, maybe give you more confidence. I mean, there's lots of things that seed in your own garden and showing that you can be more self-sufficient. Like I say, that could be a really beneficial for things, no matter if things turn out well or not. But like I say, for the worst case scenario, it's definitely a good idea to have at least a somewhat understanding of how to be self-sufficient, at least in some way, at least enough to take care of the minimal, what you need, like the roof over your head, the food in your belly, and some water to keep you hydrated, right? Feds blocking Canadians getting antibodies testing that would prove we are immune. That's way back up there. Anyways, is everyone going to have a big old turkey dinner? The wife was saying that it doesn't seem like the big turkeys are being bought, so it seems like a lot of Canadians are going to do their isolation, distancing, staying away from family. So it'll be a lot of smaller turkeys being sold, because a lot of people are just going to stay, not all be getting together, It's kind of a shame, because especially if you're those people that have a big family, it's always nice to have a big family get together, but apparently that's not going to be the case, that a lot of people are just going to have a little bit smaller get together. That's, to me, I'm cool with either way. And with my family, it's going to be pretty small get together as well. But we're definitely going to be enjoying it and taking advantage of the fact that we have each other. We have our loved ones in our lives. And think of all those positive things and put the negativity behind us. Because that's another thing. Other than when you're watching these videos and, we have to deal with this stuff. Because we do have to deal with these things. Reality is going to unfold. But yes, like I say many times in my other videos is, when you're done, set aside a portion of your day. Put yourself in a good mindset. Spend some time with your loved ones and your family members. And make sure you're helping to educate and inform them in a positive way, in a positive manner. Not just telling them how terrible things are, because that's the thing. You don't want kids these days to be constantly raised and inundated with nonstop negativity, right? Even though there's a lot of it out there, and I realize you can't hide them from it. They're going to have to realize that there's a cold, harsh old world out there at some point in time, but also at the same time, you don't want to overwhelm them too much so that they're suffering some severe mental issues or anxiety, right? We got to kind of balance that as best as we can. The mint is closed. Oh, the mint is closed. The singularity. TD sucks. The supermarket doesn't exist. Oh, the super. Sorry, I already seen that. Bank manager told me they will be making it. Oh, okay. Just got to scroll way down here. I'm way up further than I should be. In fact, it is better to say, I know that I don't know, than to make up a mystical story to explain the mysterious of the universe. Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, once again, depends on what you're talking about, right? In your own personal thing, like I say, people tell themselves all kinds of things in their personal lives, right? And but yes, when we're dealing with other people, other human beings, yes, it always is much wiser to just say, hey, I just don't know, right? Because that is really the only honest answer that you could give is, I just don't know. There's no way that I can know. There's no way for anybody to truly know at this point, anyways. I was in a different reality last night, Jake Fillmore. You are your own. Okay. Okay. Now I'm back down. I believe in Clint Eastwood. Right. Right on. Right. A wise man once said, "You are the smith of your destiny." Yeah. The supernatural does not exist. I think everybody can be explained. I think everything can be explained. No supernatural involved. Most things, yes, can be explained with no supernaturalness involved. And more than likely, the very creation of the universe can be explained without any supernatural involved as well, right? But like I say, just because of, like I say, to be consistent is I just don't know. Atheists don't know. Religious people don't know, right? Scientists don't know. But that's the only thing they don't know. Like I say, science has definitely explained a tremendous amount of things that, yeah, we should always rely on science when we're navigating that actual objective world that we live in. Right? Don't rely on mysticism. Rely on the natural order of things. Rely on science. Rely on that objective reality, because that's going to give you, like I say, that clarity of mind, clarity of thought. But like I say, there's nothing wrong with the romanticism or this thing of believing in other things. That's the creativity of humans, right? A lot of human beings will be very creative and create things that are out of this world. Right? That's fiction, right? And I would never want fiction to go away. I don't want to destroy art entirely, right? Because a lot of art's not built or based on objective reality either, right? A lot of art creates completely fictional constructs, but I don't want art to cease to exist. I don't want imagination to cease to exist either, because that's, once again, we human beings were born with a natural tendency and trait to seek out some form of mysticism, or maybe it's a form of escapism. Like I say, the supernatural, the reason why humans have done this, like basically since humans have existed, I mean, there's got to be a reason. There's got to be an underlying reason. Like it's got to be in the code of the human DNA somewhere, and we don't know. Like I say, people have put up hypotheticals. Was it Brett Weinstein, I believe, that said at that time? There was the God gene or whatever. Like, it might be explained at some point in time, why are human beings so susceptible to falling for the mysticism or the realm of mysticism, right? Probably because a lot of things that now have been proven to be tangibly true were very mystical in their constructs at one point in time in history, right? Could be just that. There's lots of hypotheticals and reasons to explain why humans believe in mysticism, but we do. And I don't think that's going to be beat out of all human beings anytime soon. So rather than saying don't ever believe in mysticism, just like I say, to me, I would say is like I say, if you want to draw unicorns or unicorns flying over rainbows and fairies on either side, or I don't know, whatever, like I say, whatever you want to do, go ahead and do that. But just, when we're dealing with each other in the social or the economic realm, right, then, we kind of got to steal with objectivity and the tangible realities that we all have to function under, right? So I think I've covered that enough. I don't think I have to really double down on any more of that anymore. Would love to debate you pseudo, but, who's this? Would love to debate you pseudo, but you busy trying to get me banned. What? What are you talking about? Well, listen, I haven't banned nobody as of yet. Like I say, I removed a comment that was advocate for using violence, right? That's not, like, it's not my opinion of whether that's good or not. Personally, like I say, if we lived in an environment where freedom of speech was, I live in Canada. We don't have full-on freedom of speech in Canada. So I'm just saying, because I have to function under the rules, and so do you. Unfortunately, that's just the world, right? That's just the world we live in. We live in Canada. There is no freedom of speech. And actually, even in the U.S., they have restrictions on advocating the use of violence, right? So, hey, it's not me. It's just, like I say, I'm dealing with that objective reality, that objective world that you're saying, right? You're a big fan of advocating for the objective world we live in, right? Which I'm saying, the objective world we live in, there's laws against, using speech to advocate for using violence against people. So practice what you preach, right? You stick within the confines and the restrictions that's placed on your speech, and then you don't have to worry about that, because you're Your authorities have told you that you're not allowed to say certain things, and that's the objective world we live in. So, like I say, I'm trying to stick to it. I'm the actually one actually trying to stick to that objective world that tells me that if I say such a thing, then I can be punished severely for it, right? Would love to do. So yeah, if you want to just say up yours, you have not been banned. Canadian Libertarian, BH, Bennett Hunter, Canadian Libertarian, all one word, Canadian Libertarian, BH, at gmail.com. Send me a message to that, and we'll set up a time and date to do so. And like I say, I'm glad to have a discussion with anybody about anything. I love to have discussions. And it's not because that's the thing. Because I'm not an ideologue, you're not going to crush my... If I learn something new that I haven't learned already, I'll actually say, oh, I'm glad you... So that's the thing. I'm fine with it. So yeah, I'm more than willing to have a conversation with you in regards to, but I'm not into like, I think you would probably find pretty quickly, because I thought I explained it here, is I'm not a mysticist. I don't function in most of my life believing in mysticism. Science cannot explain divine rods, yet can't find water in Africa. All those things. What if some things are beyond human comprehension? Not that it makes them supernatural, but we wouldn't be able to explain them. Well, there's that. Like I say, that's what I'm saying. That's basically all I'm alluding to. Is because nobody as of yet, no scientist alive today or any time in the past has so far explained how the Big Bang even come to exist and what happened before the Big Bang. What existed prior to the Big Bang? Nobody has a clue, right? There's hypotheticals, there's theorizing. A lot of people with some big IQs, some really smart people have theorized and come up with lots of different, there's all kinds of theories out there, but they're called theories for a reason, right? Because it's not proven science as of yet. So has nothing to do with... It might just be that we just haven't realized it. Like I say, it could be proven that, yeah, there's no mysticism. It's just, it's just some dude in his room with a science experiment, and the earth is just a little globe in his little science experiment. That could be it too, right? And it's like, oh, is that what it was all along? Oh, well, that explains it, right? He just created it in his little laboratory. That's where the earth and the universe come. Not suggesting that is the case, but if somehow someday someone proves that to be the case, well, okay, then it's like, oh, well, that explains it. But so far, not yet. Anyways, I don't know why I even get into this. Well, because it's the weekend, right? Because yeah, like I say, I don't use mysticism to control my thinking. Never have, never will. Even though, like I say, to me, it's just a story. It's just I like certain stories. Just like I said, just like let's say there was no such thing as the character called William Wallace, right? Let's say that the whole character, the real person that lived back in the 12th, 13th century in Scotland. Let's say there was no such thing. That was just all made up. It was a complete fabrication. It was completely fiction. A completely fictional character and a completely fictional construct. Let's say there wasn't even such a country as Ireland, England, or Scotland, or any of these things, right? I still like the meta story, the narrative. That's all it really is at the day. Even if it wasn't real, you could say, oh, there was no such thing. That's complete mystical thinking. Yeah, I guess I would have to own up and admit, yeah, okay, that's all built on fiction. It's not real. But I like the story. I like the metaphors. I like how it's presented, where people should challenge their authority and stand up for liberty and all. Like I like that. I like the idea. And because they had to use that construct to tell that story, because it was more interesting, because that's the thing. People are not going to want to pay attention to stories if they're not interesting. You got to make the story interesting for people to even want to listen to them. So that's why some of these movies, and especially if you can make it so it seems like it's more real, like based on a genuine character, right? It's like, oh, damn, that's even better, because it's kind of almost godly-like or out of this world-like or so, but it was a real person, right? So that's all it is what inspires people. And a lot of things that inspires people are things that are maybe not necessarily built on objective reality, right? You agreement as we, okay. My bank account has more than double of yesterday. My bank account has more than double of yesterday. How did that happen? Did you get your government check? Just say if I could mention one, I would be within my comprehension. Your agreement is weak. Hey, what's going on? CC Green in Canada would have plenty of money from the taxes already paid if the government didn't give away billions in other countries. Yeah. Once again, though, taxation is theft. I'm a Wiccan, but I don't bother people with my beliefs. Oh, Wiccan. Religious beliefs is something that you experience on a personal level. I don't have to share. Yeah, exactly, Gato. I'm with you there. That's your personal thing, right? People can have their own, like I say, people do what you do in your, that's whatever you're, what happened that you can't comprehend. Nobody should steal. Work together as best you can. If somebody double crosses you, then dissociate with them. Gato, I think you got me wrong somewhere. I agreed with you on, okay. Have a great Easter, everyone. Got to go walk with friends and family. Good. Right on, Jake. Have a good day. Have a great Easter weekend yourself. Yeah, see how many people, right? Pay Caesar's due was edited into the Bible by Caesar. Yeah, it could be, right? We were all Caesar as far as our persons and our property as man and as woman. We were all Caesar, yeah. The millennials and boomers are going to be a dangerous tribe during this. Thieves and con men. I can't say that about all, obviously. Have this information. COVID is a zoonosis. It will use animals to survive. I thought that was a joke. Okay. That's why I'm learning that following the Norfolk God's very libertarian teachings for a long time. Just say, I don't think you gather what I'm saying. It's all good, though. It's better. Obey the government was edited into the Bible. Yeah, exactly, right? It depends on who's writing the scriptures and the verses, right? Chances are they might try to interject some of their own preferences into it, right? I mod other channels and many people are talking revolution. I keep telling them we cannot incite violence, but some feel so strongly about it they can't stop. Well, this is the thing. I mean, if they're going to do stuff like that, and not like I would suggest or advocate for it, but to do it in a public, like doing it publicly is like, do you people just have? See, here would be my thing. If people, and this is just for anyone that's paying attention to this, and like I say, I'll probably tie this up shortly because I'm probably getting closer to 2 hours. But here's what I would say when you hear people that are advocating for violent revolution and stuff. The people that would typically be doing that stuff, one, are just people that are so stupid they don't realize that, like, you're on social media and this stuff, like, people could pull this stuff up and prove that you said what you said. Screen capturing is not very difficult, right? It's a real easy thing to do to capture whatever people say online, or even just recording the screen with some kind of screen capturing recording. Like, you can do it in just a picture, or you can record it in video form, your entire screen. And then you put yourself out there. And if people think they're anonymous, even if you're using like a VPN, they still know your IP address, right? I mean, there's ways to circumvent all those ways that you think that you can, maybe you might be able to get around Netflix, but trust me, big government can find out where the hell you're from. If they truly, truly, really want to, they can find out where you're from. And by doing what you're doing, like I say, you're putting yourself in a really precarious situation. Now, here's another thing we always got to keep in mind, because there are disinformation officers, the spy agencies. It's been reported on by the CBC and a few other media establishments over the years that they have these people out there on the internet looking for, right-wingers or people that are a threat or whatever. And they may very well be the ones that are advocating for violence, seeing because to them, right, if you want to catch who are the Canadians, think about it. If you're part of CSIS or part of the RCMP and you're fearful of these right-wing extremists, because like I say, the media keeps reporting all the time how there's the rise of the right-wingers, the alt-right, these extremists in Canada. I mean, you've all heard it because I've reported on it many times, or if you watch my videos, I've reported on this stuff. The media's reported on it. So think about it. If you want to catch the people in this country who are, chomping on the bit or advocating for using violence against government, right? Then how better than to get comfortable in their surroundings and find out who these people are than to pretend that you're one of those people themselves. Because think about it. If you're from government and like let's say you're an RCMP operative or a CSIS operative, You can say, oh, we should kill like someone because you know you're in on the sting. And everyone that's part of your group is in on the sting. So they know that, well, you're not obviously advocating for violence because you're part of the state. But you're putting that out there to see who's gonna bite on that hook. And then, like I say, some of you people out here that I would identify as right-wingers, you're like, oh, I like what they said because secretly I'm thinking that too. I want to be violent. I want a violent revolution. It's like, oh yeah, so I'm going to gravitate towards that person. Okay then. Well, now they've got now they know who you are. Now they're going to try to earn your trust. And they're going to talk to you in the manner like, oh, we're buddy. Oh, yeah, we hate Trudeau together, right? Yeah, that fucking Trudeau, he's a piece of shit. Yeah, that guy should be whatever, right? And you're like, oh, yeah, well, because that person's saying something like that, and man, like, they're really taking a risk by saying that, so they must, obviously, they must really hate Trudeau, and they're like a right-winger like me, right? So like, oh, we're buddy now. But maybe they're just doing that to catch you in a sting at some point in time and use that against you at some point in time in the future, right? Like I say, I'm not going to break up any names or anything, but I was even a little suspicious of some people, like I say, some of these people that identify as right-wingers and have even worked for the government or the military in some capacity in the past where they're doing this stuff and talking about violent and overthrow and revolutions and treason, for treason and all that stuff. And then they're saying, like to go out and buy guns and register. We should all be going out and get our gun licenses now, right? I've heard this touted by a few people. We should be all going out and get our gun licenses now, make sure that we're well armed for when, Trudeau does start sending in the Stasi or whatever. It's like, okay, but all you're doing, like basically anyone that's got whether they say that they have a list, right? That's the thing. The Conservatives supposedly destroyed the list, long arm registrations. But listen, if you've got your pal, you're already registered with the government. You're already getting a criminal check every day automatically through this. You're already run through the system every day. And they're keeping track of the weapons you own, right? So really, all these people, you could be just giving them all the information and all the evidence they're ever going to need to use against you at some point in time in the future, which is why...
Every time you buy ammunition, you have to show your pal too.
Yeah. And, when you're buying your ammunition and, your ammunition can only be used in so many different ways. But so they're keeping track of it. So just be wise, be careful out there. Because like I say, there are some of these people that are claiming to be right-wingers and are advocating for violent overthrow and revolutions. And they might very well be just some kind of undercover operative looking to snare you and catch you in some kind of a trap. So like I say, just be careful. That's all I'm saying is don't be an idiot. Well, like I say, the idiots that'll say that, I mean, whatever. You can't really help those people. But like I say, you got to be careful of the kind of people that would go out and publicly advocate for that kind of violence or a violent revolution. I wouldn't trust them no matter what. Like I said, if they're just an idiot or if they're an operative or whatever they are, just know you these are not people that you want to place a whole lot of faith or trust in. Bennett reminds me of one of my favorite song quotes by Son of Saturn. No, I'm not an atheist. That condescends and shakes his fist. But God is not the word I choose to use in this relationship. Okay, I get it. Prior to the flood, 11,500 years ago. Okay, you guys must be talking. God or no God, we can all agree that everything started from something that should let things move along. Yeah, well, I agree. Jeff Devine. It started somehow, right? There is no creation of something from nothing. The universe is lettuce mix, sweet peas, spinach, all that popped up passing last week. Right on. Good to hear, Trish. Good to hear. Okay, looks like I'm done. All right, yeah. All right, I think I'm done because, yeah, it's getting pretty crappy here now. All right, okay, folks. Like I say, I'm going to tie this stream up. We've been going on. Let me see where we're at now. Yeah, it's been 2 hours now anyways. So like I say, everyone have a good chat. I didn't, once again, I did get some of the most important things that I wanted to cover. So that's good. But like I said, there's still lots more yet to be covered. And I'm probably going to start a series talking about demographics because, when you're talking about boomers, Gen Xers, millennials, and Gen Zs. This is something that this is another one of those uncomfortable topics, but it has to be discussed. And like, there's a lot of things that I can tie into, not just the COVID, but the economic fallout, the financial crisis. There's so many, retirement, pensions, right? There's collective punishment, preemptive punishment, the belief in the state. There's so many things that you can tie demographics into, which is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to start a series. I think I kind of have a tentative name that I come up with. I believe, it's either going to be the boomer state, collective control and punishment. See, I was kind of using that little bit of that for this stream here. Then there was another one. I was trying to come up with the A, B, C, D, kind of like a play on the alphabet I come up with, which is aging boomers and the collective delusion experiment. That's possible too. Anyways, it's going to be a series. Like I say, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to call it and how I'm going to tie everything in. I'm going to try to keep it all compacted so I'm more focused on it. I might actually try to do those because that's the thing. When I'm doing my streams, as you can see, I kind of get distracted with the stream because I like to see what you were all saying in the chat. So actually, I might do these series just in video form. So it's just me, my mind, and the material that I'm dealing with. So yeah, I'll probably end up doing these in an actual series, in video series. So stay tuned for that. But I'll definitely be doing more streams to cover more and more of the breaking news, which it's just, like I say, information overload. But for today, enjoy today, enjoy tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's Sunday, so tomorrow's the big day. Enjoy your big Easter Sunday dinner with your family and your friends, or whoever it is you're going to have in your home, whoever you're allowed to have in your home, I guess, right? And yeah, maybe find some way that you can block off. Maybe build another foot high between now and then on your fence so your neighbor can't see who's coming and going. Because you never know if they don't have anyone invited over there. Hey, matter of fact, actually, if you got a neighbor, oh no, you can't even invite your neighbor over. I was thinking, well, if your neighbor's lonely and they're resentful because you have family over and they're going to call the cops on you because they don't have any family over and they're resentful, I was going to say, well, maybe you could offer to bring them over. But then again, yeah, you might cause even more concern for other neighbors that'll intervene. Anyways, folks, this is all so crazy if you think about it. Anyways, like I say, everyone have themselves a great day. I'll see you in the next stream. Probably won't be tomorrow. Probably the next stream would probably be Monday at earliest. Tomorrow's going to be, like I say, family day only. And I suspect and I hope most of you will do the same. Because like I say, we got to spend lots of time with our loved ones. Because all this is going to put a lot of things in perspective. Is those you love, your family, your loved ones. Those are the people, those are going to be the things that you're going to see time and time again. It's going to be proven to be the most important things in your life. Not the consumable goods you're buying. Not that next Beamer parked in your front yard, but it's your loved ones. It's those you care about. It's that thing that we all humans feel that ultimate desire for, which is love, companionship, friendship, and a yearning to belong to something greater than ourselves, right? And a lot of times that is family, and it can sometimes even be faith. But for today, let's just stick with the family end, because the family is something that's definitely bigger and greater than just me. And it's not government. I don't have to be forced into it. It's all voluntary. Our relationships can be wholly voluntary, but I definitely think it's very, very important. Of course, what is a family without individuals in it? So actually the individual is still, I would say, is still supreme at the end of the day. But obviously family is the next closest thing. So everyone have themselves a great day. We'll see you in the next